Can a better visual routine at corner exit improve exit drive performance? In a previous video we talked about the specific part of the visual routine that helps us build confidence in the braking zone and as you move into corner entry. In this video we're going to move on to the specifics of what we do with our eyes from mid-corner out to corner exit and the benefits it brings us there. The technique we're about to talk about here is so incredibly simple that it almost doesn't warrant a video of its own. But if you haven't been doing anything like this before, then this simple tweak to your visual routine could bring massive gains for you at corner exit, which is why I want to cover it here. So let's get straight into the routine itself, then we'll talk about why it can be so beneficial. How we use our eyes from the apex. Like I said, the basics of the routine itself are very simple. As you're moving through mid-corner towards your apex, you'll be focusing on that apex as you approach it. Once you're close enough that you're sure you're going to hit it, move your eyes up and out to the exit. That's it. Now, the distance that you feel is close enough to the apex could be different for you compared to another rider, and it can even change depending on the corner itself. Initially, this may only be 1 or 2 bike lengths, but in some situations, and as you gain confidence in how your bike holds a line, you may start to extend that a little more. That being said, you don't need to go too far with it. Remember that we want to be focused on our apex so that we hit it correctly. Looking all the way through the corner to the exit too early is likely going to make that more difficult. So where should you look at corner exit? What you use for your exit marker can also be different from rider to rider. Where the apex is more about hitting a very specific point to create the potential for a good line out of the corner, as we move out to the exit it's more about judging the space we have, which means the way you do that can also have a little bit of flexibility. For this reason you won't necessarily be looking at the exact point where you want to meet the outside of the track. For instance, you may opt to look just a little way down the track and focus on the white line as you exit the corner, which is an approach I often take. If you're exiting onto a long straight, then you can also opt to look as far down the track as you can, using your peripheral view to monitor the outer edge. Though this approach can be a little more difficult if you aren't as confident in how your bike naturally moves through the exit, or if you aren't as good with using your wider vision. You can also look at features off the track that guide you to where you want to go. I sometimes use things in the distance that are in line with where I want to be, giving me something to aim at as I exit the corner, allowing me to correctly time my pickup and drive out. Basically, you want to look at the spot that helps you best see the space and judge your line through corner exit so that you can more effectively use the space you have. Something to avoid, however, is looking at the outside edge of the track that's too close to the corner. Once again, you're going to be restricting your view of the available space, and you may even begin picking the bike up too soon, causing you to pause your exit drive and wait longer for the bike to turn and point up the track. So what if the corner doesn't exit onto a straight? There'll be many instances where the corner you're travelling through is closely followed by another corner. It's in these places that you have to be mindful of your line out of the current corner so that it doesn't spoil the next one. In these situations, the advice is pretty simple. Look where you want to put the bike so you can create the desired line. For instance, if you're going through a right-left combination where the left exits onto a straight, it's the exit line of the left-hand corner that is most important, so we want to keep the bike to the right and not use too much of the space on the exit of the first corner so we don't spoil the line through the second one. In this case, you would hit the apex of the right corner and then switch your focus to where you want to be to enter the next corner. Once again, we're looking where we want to put the bike. Always think about the line you want at corner exit, then find an object or area to focus on that helps you see the space and visualize the correct line through it. So why are we doing this? The biggest benefit for learning riders when doing this is that it often means they can begin picking the bike up earlier, which means they can apply more throttle in the exit phase earlier too. And you may not think that it makes much difference, but it does. For starters, when traveling at 70 miles an hour, you are covering a massive 31 meters per second. If we're generous and say that a rider takes half a second too long to look up and out to the exit, they would have travelled 15.5 meters before seeing the space at corner exit. This means they could have potentially started picking the bike up and driving 15 meters earlier. That can make a big difference heading out onto a long straight, especially on a more powerful machine. And this is all assuming the rider that's half a second late is looking at the correct thing in the first place. With a correct view of the space at corner exit, it makes it a lot easier to visualise the line you're looking to take, and as a direct result of that, you can make much better decisions on how quickly you stand the bike up so that you can drive out. For riders who've never adopted this before, this typically means substantial gains in corner exit drive in many places across the track they ride. For that reason, I'd suggest you take an audit of what you're doing with your eyes at corner exit to see if you can tap into those same substantial gains. Is this an area of your riding you feel can be improved, or have you found gains being made when you did implement it? Tell us about it in the comments down below, and as always, if you like the video then please hit the button and subscribe to the channel for more performance riding advice and guides moving forward. Take care.